Coach, we're doing overtime today. This is 2 in 1 week.
Getting after it, man.
Yeah, we had the Cole brothers on yesterday, and now we got Coach Shade and Coach Keaton coming through, so I got another big show for them. Hey, everybody, I'd like to welcome you to the HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller. I am one of the hosts. I have my special host, the Rattler himself, Mr. Campbell on, and the featured host, the reason why this is called HBCU Coaches Corner, my main man, Johnny Cole. Before we get started with our interviews and everything, I got to ask you, Coach. Coach, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, Coach. You know, anytime that you got a chance to honor some champions, you know, and I don't know if, you know, of course, I always talk about what our channel was for and what it's about, you know, and I can remember the time that I went to the championship, we didn't have this space. And I know you say that a lot, Coach Campbell, and I'm glad these two gentlemen never loses where they are and, you know, and what this whole thing is about and the support that they give us, and they just don't know how much we appreciate it. So I look forward to these next two interviews, man. It's championship week. They about excellence. They're about putting together a team, and they come from two different sides, but they're coming with the end result, and that's taking their young men to Birmingham this weekend to play in what we call the SIAC Championship.
All right, Coach. Now, back when you coached in the SIAC, did they have a championship game?
No. What they had was a Pioneer Bowl. One team would go to the playoffs, which was our champion guy, and then the second place team would go to the Pioneer Bowl.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Tuskegee couldn't go to the playoffs, so if they won the conference, they would go to the Pioneer Bowl, and hopefully the other team has a good enough record to go to the playoffs.
You know, in my mind, coming into this HBCU football space, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I look at the SIAC as almost like the baby SWAC. You understand what I'm saying? It kind of covers a lot of the footprint, and there's a lot of familiarity with the coaches and the SWAC itself. Coach Campbell, is that a pretty good characterization of the SIAC?
Absolutely. And Coach will notice there's a lot of ties between the SWAC and the SIAC. A lot of great rivalries, a lot of teams that played each other. And again, it really started, and Coach, you probably could correct me wrong, it really started splitting maybe in the late 80s when they really, you know, as when I say the talent level, when it really, you could just see the time. Like I say, Tuskegee, hey man, used to come and beat FAMU a couple of times when I was in school, you know, and things like that. So, you know, Tuskegee was a hard Central. Well, I mean, because Central is what they're in. What conference was Central in, Coach, at the time?
North Carolina Central?
No, Central State.
Oh, Central State was always independent. They were up north.
Independent.
They actually wasn't in the SIAC.
Okay, right. But they were a small. They were NAIA, right?
Right. When
I'm talking about Central, put a head knock on folks with Coach Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you kind of, and I'm just making that. So the talent has always been there, and like I said, you have these, you know, cross matches and things like that. So I am very excited because now these platforms that we're going to be able to give these two fine schools, and really, I'm really happy. Like I said, like I told, I'm a big fan of Coach Shade and I'm a big fan of Coach Keaton, and just to see these two brothers really to give us, I know it's going to be a great championship game.
Well, let me make sure it's clear, because, you know, when you're talking about the Blue Bread programs, you know, of course you talk about Tuskegee. Hell, they beat me 3 times at Alabama State, and they've had some great teams under Coach Comegy and Coach Woody, and, you know, of course Kentucky State was always strong, and Albany State was definitely strong, and in the 90s it was Savannah State. But that's what makes this game so special. Now you got Miles College have risen since Shay's been there on a consistent basis of winning, And then what can you say about Teddy Keaton at Clark Atlanta? They come from the grave, out the grave, coach, and they one of the best Division II teams in the program in 1 year. And you can't. And Coach Shea, all he needed was 1 year to get his thing going. And these are the two best football teams right now, man. Division II football teams. And one thing we can say is in Black College, but also in the country. They both well coached. They both led by outstanding men, and that's what makes this so great. You got two teams coming out of the dark, Rocky, that now is at the top of the SIAC.
All right, Coach. With no further ado, I'll let you do the introduction, Coach.
My guy had a chance to really meet face to face. Man, he's an outstanding man, let alone a coach. He's put together an outstanding staff. We talk about that a lot. It wasn't about who and did you play in the NFL and all that. He went out and got a couple of his guys that he knows. Of course, is led by one of the legends in George Pugh. And I'm gonna bring him on, but I gotta give George Pugh some credit. George Pugh was part of he was on the first recruiting of Bear Bryant of bringing black players to Alabama, and that's how Coach Shea was able to put his staff together. He has that type of support. With no further ado, man, I think is a great guy. I think this is just the start for him. I'm actually interviewing for one of his assistant coaches because there's a couple of jobs. No, I'm just kidding. No further ado, Coach Sam Shea, Miles College. How you doing, Coach?
Coach, I'm doing well, man. Glad to be back on the Coaches Corner, man. I appreciate the invitation to come back. Had a great time last time I came on talking to you guys, Coach. And I just appreciate you mentioning my coaching staff. Guys like George Pugh, got a really good staff. Those guys have done a great job from day one over at Miles College. And now, Coach, I heard you talking about interviewing for a spot. Something I don't know. I got somebody leaving my staff.
We ain't doing that no more, Coach. We got you. We gonna keep you in Miles, baby.
No. But I thought you were saying one of my guys is leaving, so you coming.
Hey, Coach, as great as you guys are doing, man. I know we had an opportunity, and that you guys don't know, to sit down right before the game against Allen, and we really broke a lot of bread and discovered about, we've crossed paths before, and I can't say enough about your staff, Coach. Man, you're here. Is this a surprise that you're here? Is it, of course, everybody, open up in August and we're going to win the championship? Did you feel that good about this group?
Well, we had we lost some guys. We lost some key pieces from the team and the 23 team. And so there were some question marks. We had some young guys in some positions that we weren't quite sure how they were going to hold up as starters. And those first two ball games, they kind of got their feet wet, but we really started to feel good about it after the bye week. We started feeling pretty good about it, went into the bye week and went back to basics, fundamentals, and that's when we started to feel really good about our team.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, I wanted Coach Shea to kind of break something down. You guys were undefeated in conference, so you guys being in the championship game was pretty much. I understand why you guys are in the championship game, but there were three teams that finished 6-2 in your conference. Can you tell me how? What was the tiebreaker? Because I wasn't able to search. I searched all over the SIAC site. I went all over the place looking for, head-to-head matchup. Like, none of that stuff made any sense to me. So can you make some sense of it for me?
Well, actually, I can. One of the things was Fort Valley going into that last week. They only had one loss in conference, and so when they lost to Albany State, Clark Atlanta had the tiebreaker over them because they beat them head-to-head. So that was one of the deals. And then with Albany State, they were in a situation where they won and they still had 2 losses, but they had a common opponent with Clark Atlanta. So they didn't play each other. Clark Atlanta and Albany State didn't play each other. So then it went to the common opponents, who they beat, who they lost to. I'm not quite sure who that was, but that was the difference in Clark Atlanta being here and not Albany State.
Okay, Coach. I just wanted to thank you. So it was their record or point spread between common opponents.
Yes.
Okay, got you. That makes sense now. Thank you for kind of.
It's like if me and you play a team and I beat that team and you lose to that team, then that puts me over you.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this about Coach Shade. This will not be your first time seeing Clark Atlanta this year, Coach. They were blazing hot when you met them the first time, and you guys really cooled them off with a 49-28 victory. What can you use from that game and that really dominating victory that'll help you out this coming Saturday?
Well, first off, that was a few weeks ago, and we feel like we're a different team. We feel like they're a different team. Obviously, you're going to take that game plan and take the good things from it, and then there's some things that you can do better. And I know we're both going to add some wrinkles on both sides of the ball. So I think it really just comes down to the players. It comes down to the players making plays. And you look at that last ball game, we felt like in all 3 phases we made plays. We had a block punt for a touchdown. That was a big momentum swing there. And then defensively, we had an interception for a touchdown. And so when you make plays like that, you're going to give yourself a great opportunity to win ball games. So not sure how much, how much we can take from that game as far as deciding the outcome of this one. Because to be honest with you, they did some good things against us in that ball game. They actually outgained us in yardage offensively, but we felt like part of the reason for that was we had some short fields. We had 3 interceptions, like I said, 1 for a touchdown, but we had some short fields, so our offense didn't have to go very far a couple times to score. But at the same time, we felt like there were some things that we could do against them. So even if we had to drive the field to score, we felt, we felt like we could have gotten that done. But, fortunately for us, we did have short fields and were able to take advantage of some turnovers.
Yeah. Coach, of course you played at the University of Alabama National Championship. Some of those things that you when you were there as a player and have instilled in your coaching ability, how well are that you transferring that to your players?
Well, I take so much from my journey as a player and even as a young coach. But at the University of Alabama, it was a special time for us. Only lost 5 games in 4 years. Played in 3 SEC championships. Won a national championship. So just those experiences in those big games. The thing that I take from that is don't change. Don't try to be something that you haven't been. You don't have to be a hero, so to speak, or Superman. That's what we're telling our team. We're telling our guys, look, let's just keep doing what we've been doing each and every week, having great preparation during the week, and don't feel like you got to be Superman. And we look at it as everybody's got a part to play, and if everybody plays their part, we feel like we're going to have success.
Yeah. Is it hard today? I know I know now in college, when we were playing and stuff, it was rah-rah, it was team ball. You got your NIL now, you got kids are like different. You can't yell at them. If you yell at them, or talk to them, is it different now, you coaching, of course, I think it's different. I was just trying to ask you, is it more harder to get them camaraderie and get them all on the same page?
It is. It is. It really is, because I think back to when I played, and I think back to, when I first got into coaching, the social media stuff wasn't prevalent when I first got in. But now I think that, social media causes guys to want to draw attention to themselves and promote themselves and put themselves out there. And sometimes that can cause you to, want to be more of an individual than a team player. But we feel like in the off season is when we really start building our teams. We do a lot in the off season, in our off season workout program, our strength and conditioning program, all those things to try to get guys to buy into the team part of it. And we feel like we've done a good job of that. We still have some guys every now and then that, they feel like it's about them, and you got to reel those guys back in, Coach. So we trust me, we work at it year round. We work at it year round, trying to, get our guys to understand that the way we're going to be successful is as a team. And I've never seen one individual win a football game.
Yeah. Now, this is your third year, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. This is my third season at Miles.
Right. And so from your first year now to the championship game, how did you get it? Or what are some of the things that you think you brought to Miles to get you here? Because at first they wasn't. Of course, that's why you got the job. They wasn't, or I think Coach left. Right. So he did leave some type of taste in his mouth about winning. What were some of the things differently that you did at Miles that could consistently get you where you are?
Well, I think the first thing was bringing in a good staff, a good coaching staff. Now, we've had some guys to leave for some bigger positions, but the core group is still there. We've still got 7 of the guys, actually 6 of the guys that came in that first year still on staff. And so having that core still together, that's been huge for us. But we struggled that first year. We went 1-9 that first year, but I just got to be honest about it, and guys will tell you we weren't as talented as we were the second year or this season. We had some guys that left the program before we really got in there. After the first staff left, had some guys that transferred out. And Coach, you know the deal. You go through where you got some guys that just don't fit what you're trying to do. And I'm not talking X's and O's. I'm just talking about the culture, the standard that you're trying to set. And so we really went through some growing pains that first year. And going into that second year, the coaching staff did a great job of going out recruiting, bringing in high school kids and transfers. And also one of the themes going into that second year was be the change. That was our theme for 2023 for that season, was be the change. And that happened last year. And you go back, we were 4 points away from being 9-1 last season and playing in the SIAC Championship game. So we felt like we were really on track last year, but we had some injuries that kind of derailed that.
Yeah, I watched you guys against Benedict, and you guys was right. Y'all were right there. A play or two, that game should have switched. I thought maybe y'all were going to win it and upset Benedict. Is that game still talked about? Is it still that taste? You think? Of course, I know you as a coach, you can remember that. I wonder, does this team remember that, and will it help them be a lot more focused coming in to play Clark this weekend?
Well, we've still got some players on this team that were part of that, and obviously that was some fuel that they used in the offseason. But also we had a bad loss to Albany State last season, and I feel like that game we weren't quite there. We weren't quite focused. I know we had some guys that were injured. We had quite a few injuries going into that game. But the great thing about this season that's really been special to watch is we've had a number of injuries this year. We've had more injuries on this team and more guys out of the lineup this season than any of the past two. And we've had guys step up. And it's been awesome to see. We lost our starting quarterback for a couple games. Our backup came in and played really well. He actually started against Albany State and against Clark Atlanta back-to-back weeks. Khalil Anglin, he stepped up. We've had a couple offensive linemen out. Our starting running back, Janero Scott, he was out for a number of games. Matter of fact, I can keep going across the board, but we've had a next man up mentality this year. And it's been really special to see that, to see guys step up when their numbers called.
Yeah. You know, one of our guests asked, are you concerned about losing players to the portal?
Well, we lost some guys last year. Actually, we lost three really good starters. We lost the starting right tackle. We lost the safety, and we lost our center. So that's part of college football now. And I feel like my NFL background, just kind of understanding that when guys feel like there's a better situation for them, or they're going to go get what in pro ball you call market value, they're going to go get it. You know, I'm not going to be able to stop that. And so our thinking is go out, sign really good high school players when you can sign them, sign transfers and those type of guys when you've got needs to fill immediately. But we feel like our young guys are developing in the program. So if we lose a guy, we feel like we're going to have a young guy that maybe he sat for a year, but after a year, he should be ready to go. And that's the philosophy that we've taken on. We've said we've got to sign a good mix of high school kids along with transfers. And when we lose guys, we should have somebody waiting in the wings to step up.
Let me ask you this here, Coach. This is Coach Berry won last year. You mentioned that Benedict team that you guys narrowly lost by last year. Let me ask you this: are you surprised at the success that Coach Berry's having with a lot of those same players moving up to Division I?
Not at all. Not at all. Two reasons. Number one, those guys that he took with him to South Carolina State were really good football players, and they could play pretty much on any level, Division II, FCS, FBS. So I wasn't surprised by that. And also Coach Berry, just a lot of respect for him. Had a chance to get to know him over the past couple of years. I felt like he did a great job in the SIAC. His teams, when you played them, very sound, almost mistake-free football. And they do, if you've got a weakness, they're going to exploit it on both sides of the ball. So I felt like him and his staff did the best job in our conference the past 2 years. My hat went off to him, and I'm not surprised at all.
Coach, you know, first of all, I appreciate you being on. Congratulations playing in the championship game. We talked earlier. But here's the thing I think a lot of people don't know. You start off 0-2, but you're on an 8-game winning streak. Out of those 8 games, you scored over 30 points a game. Now, you're a defensive guy now, hard hitter, captain of the defense. How is your offense performing so well and rolling at this late stage of the season?
Well, I gotta get with you right there, Coach. Now, I'll say this. People say I'm a defensive guy, but I actually grew up an offensive guy. I actually signed with Alabama as a running back. So I've got a lot of offense in me.
He told me that over a can of beer.
Yeah.
So you know both sides, huh, Coach?
Hey,
you
Coach.
You got to score the ball to win the game too, huh?
Hey, Coach,
exactly.
Who put you on the defensive side of the ball? Bobby Humphries? Who put you over there?
You know, I thought I was going to be the next Bobby Humphries, man, at Alabama, but I played both ways in high school, and when I got there, we had a stable of running backs, and we were thin at defensive back, and I didn't get one handoff. They basically said, look, we need you to play defense. So, you know, went over to defense, man. I'm a team guy. I went over to defense, and everything worked out. And, you know, what I learned from that, and I tell my players all the time, I tell them, look, man, sometimes people see stuff in you don't see in yourself. And you got to allow those people to bring that out of you. And so I was willing to, let the coaches take me and shape and mold me into a defensive back. And I try to do the same thing with players. We've had guys that have played on both sides of the ball this season. So, you never know, but we're going to do whatever it takes to win, though.
Now, Coach, as we said, you have played Clark Atlanta before. What do you tell your players not to be too overconfident, but what also do you learn when you've played a team and now you're playing in a championship game? What are the pros and cons of, like I said, playing a team twice?
Well, I really don't get caught up in that. You hear a lot of people say it's hard to beat a team twice and all that. And I'm like, look, man, in pro ball, man, we played 3-4 teams twice a year. You played somebody in your division twice. Sometimes it was maybe 2 weeks in between. Sometimes it might have been a month and a half in between. But the bottom line is this, when you play them, you go through the same process you go through to prepare for whatever team you're going to play. So I don't think that, that makes it hard, because I think we're a different team than when we played them, and I think they're different. And so I just tell my players, I tell them, look, we're going to do what we've been doing. Our preparation during the week is not going to change. What we do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is not going to change. We're going to do the same things. The only thing we ask is find a way to do more. Find a way to study more, to watch more film. Find a way to do more in the weight room. Find a way to work on your conditioning more. So that's really all we ask. We don't try to change anything as far as our approach to being in the championship game or playing a team twice.
Yeah. Is it of course, this is not Alabama and national championship game. How is the campus? Is the campus excited? As the president came down, I know in Black College, you get fed. You get some cherry pie, you get some pumpkin pie, you get some gumbo rolling through the office. You ain't got to buy lunch. How is it on Miles College campus?
Coach, I can tell you've been a lot of championship games, man. It has some really good teams, because you're right on point. Our president, Dr. Bobby Knight, she came over this morning to our staff meeting and sat down and talked to the staff. And it was a great visit with her. And campus has been really like buzzing, cafeteria-wise, like you said. Hey, Coach, you want a little bit more of this? You want a little bit more of that? The only problem with that is, your players are getting patted on the back, all that stuff, and told how good they are and how good they look and all that kind of stuff. And we try to tell those guys, hey, look, just keep doing the same things that you're doing. Don't get caught up in the so-called hype and all that stuff. We understand that, we've got to go out and play a football game on Saturday. It's a championship game against a really good team. Great coaching staff. Coach Keaton, man, I got a lot of respect for him. Shoot, man, you know your brother, man, Coach L.C. Cole, man. I tell you what, man, one of the great defensive minds, I think, not just in HBCU football, but in college football in general. So a lot of respect for those guys over there. And, man, we're looking for an exciting game on Saturday. They got a lot of people coming over. I heard all the Clark Atlanta people trying to buy up all the tickets and the tailgate spots and all that stuff. And, man, we're telling our Miles people, you better get out there and get those tickets, man, before the Clark Atlanta people get them. So, yeah, it's gonna be a great atmosphere. I'm looking forward to it. Great atmosphere for our players.
Now are they gonna sit your band in the end zone and get them out the stand? Because we gonna need some. Look, LC got. It's 8 of us coming, and we bring that's 16, and we bring the kids. That's 50 right there. I told Teddy Keith he got to give up all the tickets. We play hard near.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna tell you this now, Coach. With it being a postseason game, it's really not a home game for us. It's just the way the conference set everything up to play the game at the number 1 seeds place. So, Coach, if I got personal tickets for this game, man, I'd hook you up. You know what I'm saying? I would now.
Oh man, I'm gonna have my badge. I'm media, baby. We media. We coming through with media pass.
I like it. I like it.
Hey, Coach, I've been looking over the stats for your team, and I know we about to get you out of here, but I've been trying to find a guy who you could consider a star on this team. As you said, you guys won with backup quarterbacks. I look at the stats; it looks like running back by committee. Everybody has kind of like an equal number of tackles. Coach, you know, what do you have going into the, you know, what have you built here at Miles where it doesn't seem like it's one or two player dependent? It looks like y'all spread the wealth as far as yardage and tackles and things and touchdowns.
Well, I'll say this: Gennaro Scott, our starting running back. If he plays the entire season, he's leading the conference in rushing. I think he's a 1,000-yard rusher easy. You know, you look at some of his games against Morehouse, he had 6 carries for 83 yards in the first quarter. I go back to the game that he got injured up at Allen. He had almost 200 yards rushing in that ball game, and he missed a lot of time. So he would be one of those guys. We're glad to have him back. Our offensive line, we've got some guys up front, some seniors. Christian Twyman at left tackle, 4-year starter. Our left guard, Jason Stovall, he's one of our leaders up front. And we feel like our offensive line, when they've been healthy, they've been really good in the running game and also in protecting our quarterback. So, you know, those are some guys. And I could keep going. Our tight end, Trevonta Abner, he's been out the last 3 games. He's an all-conference guy, tight end. And then a lot of people don't know that Jay Andrews, who's an all-conference receiver for us, number 1, he's been out. He's missed time, and he's had some health issues and things he's had to deal with. So, and that's why it looks that way. It's a little bit distorted. But I think if those guys had been healthy the whole season, they would have had big seasons and you know, big years and been up for all-conference, all-American honors. And you go on that defensive side of the ball, I do feel like we got some guys on defense that have been standouts. Jermichael Rogers is the guy up front, number 2 for us. Very active, gets after the quarterback in the passing game, but also he's really good against the running game, plays with great leverage. And he's a guy that I feel like is, you know, a guy that could be defensive player of the year in this conference. Because one thing Coach Cole will tell you, as coaches, when you watch the film, you might see a guy, he might not have 12 sacks or he might not be the leading tackler, but there's some guys, when you turn that tape on, you better account for that guy. And he's one of those guys. And I think he should get some votes for one of the top players in our conference and one of the top players in D2 football. And we've got some young guys. We got a safety that's leading not just the conference, but leading Division II football in interceptions. LaShawn Young, he's a true sophomore. He's one of those guys that's grown up a lot since those first 2 games and since that bye week. So, you know, we got some guys now that I feel like are some, you know, as some people would say, some dogs. We got some. We got some, but we do tend to spread the wealth, and you got a lot of guys that are making plays, but we got some guys been in and out of the lineup that we feel would have been, you know, up for some of those postseason awards.
Coach, championship game, I know you've looked at a lot of things. You've got a lot of people watching. First of all, I want all the Miles fans. You got a great coach right here. So for him to stay great, give that man some money. So you know, Coach, I always got to help you out on that. That's my job on this show. Give you some money. I'm going to say it for you. But with that being said, Coach, what are the 3 or 4 things that you say if we execute, we will be champions on Saturday?
That's good because all season long, we've had our keys to victory. And I'll give them to you, and they're plain and simple. We pride ourselves on being able to run the football on offense. I feel like we've got to be able to do that. Defensively, we've got to be able to stop the run. Both of those things come together. So we've got to be able to run the ball, and we've got to be able to stop the run on defense. Then the next thing for us is we got to win the turnover battle. And we've been very good at winning the turnover battle. That was a big part of the win. The last time we played Clark Atlanta, we won the turnover battle. So, you know, when you're plus there, Coach Cole will tell you, man, you're going to win a lot of games. So that's a big one for us. Next thing we talk about is the penalties, limiting the penalties. And we've done a good job. If you go back and look at the stat sheet, the first 2 ball games, we were over 100 yards in penalties. And you look back the last 2 ball games, we're sitting there, I think 3 or 4 penalties for 22, 24 yards. So we become more disciplined as a football team when it comes to penalties and things like that. So those are 3 of the things for us, being able to control the running game, the turnovers, and also the penalties. And the last thing we talk about is we got to find a way to be special on special teams. And you go back to the last time we played them, we had the block punt for the touchdown, and that's a big part of it. So all 3 phases are involved in us in our keys to victory.
Coach, this is the last question I want to ask. Coach, on at 11 p.m. on Saturday, what can Clark Atlanta expect to get out of Miles College in the SIAC Championship game?
Well, at 11 a.m. on Saturday, I tell you what, I think they're going to get a football team that's definitely, ready to play, a team that's going to come out there and want to fly around and have fun. And that's what we've been doing. Our guys have been, no matter what the situation, no matter what the stage, what I've enjoyed is seeing our guys have fun playing together. And that's what they're going to see. They're going to see a group out there that's going to have fun. And, hey, we're at home. I know that, we're the host team, so to speak, but we're at home. And, when you're at home, you gotta let it all hang out.
Coach, coming to this game, you talked about, getting some players back. Health-wise, where would you say, though? You guys are 100% everybody bootstraps is up, or 80%? Where you think you guys are health-wise?
Well, definitely not 100%. At this point of the season, even if everybody was still playing, definitely not 100%. We've got some guys that are in that 85, 80, 85%, but it's the championship game, and they want to get out there and play. And we got to be careful about that, Coach. We can't, let a guy get out there and play, and he's going to put himself in position to, further his injury or put himself in a position to hurt the team because he's just not healthy enough to give us what we're looking for. So we've kind of learned to live with it this year, Coach, to the point where we're not as healthy as we want to be, and we've lost some guys for the season. We lost a starting defensive tackle in the West Alabama game that was a really good player for us up front. We lost one of our starting receivers against Benedict. Had an arm injury, Jalen Peterson. And I felt like he was one of our unsung heroes. He was our all-conference kick returner. He was our best cover guy on punt and kickoff, and he was becoming one of our top wide receivers. So, but we've had some guys to step up in his place, and that's what it's been for us, just next man up. So it's almost like we've kind of forgotten about the injuries, so to speak, because we know we're just going to keep playing. Doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter who's in the game.
Yeah. Now, what kind of, I've always wondered, of course, one of the reasons why I start, are you guys getting big media? I know the game's on ESPN. Are they coming in to interview you guys? ESPN, right? And are they coming to you, or is it any other outlet that's been forthcoming and, to put this, because this is big, big for blacks. It's big, it's big for Division II football.
Yes, ESPNU, they're coming out later in the week. They're going to do some interviews. We've had a lot of local media, pretty much every news station. We got a big deal in the morning after practice with one of the local media stations. So we're getting some great coverage. We are getting some great coverage. I've had some media that's not here in the area that have reached out. One of the other groups that covers HBCU football a lot, they've reached out to us and done interviews. So I think the coverage has been good. I think it's been really good. I think it's good for Miles College football. I think it's great for the SIAC. And like you said, Coach, I think it's great for HBCU football that we're getting the coverage that we're getting. And, just like you guys, you guys are giving us some great coverage. And I know you're going to have Coach Keaton on after us, man. And I'll tell you what, Coach Keaton, those guys, I saw the First Take deal over in Atlanta. I thought that was great, not only for Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. I thought it was great for the SIAC and HBCU football as a whole.
Yeah. So, Coach, you answered some of the questions about some of the things that you do. What is 3 things that concern you about Clark?
Oh, well, bottom line is this.
Or is that a secret?
I've already talked about the coaches. I've already talked about Coach Keaton, and I've already talked about LC. You get to the players. It starts with David Wright, the quarterback. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks, not just in our conference, but in Division II football and probably on some other levels. The thing about him, he's like a coach on the field. He knows where everybody is. He diagnoses and dissects your defense, even if you're trying to disguise. Once he figures out what you're in, he knows where the ball's supposed to go. And if you give him time, he can make all the throws. And he's gonna get the ball there. And then he brings that element of being able to do things with his legs and buy time. So he's definitely the X factor for those guys. But also they've got some really good skill guys. The receiving group, the running back group. They've got guys that can take it the distance, that can get to the house in a hurry. So those 2 things, and then you flip over on the defensive side. They've got some guys that are playing really well on defense, particularly up front. Got some guys that can give us some problems and cause havoc in our backfield. So we've got to definitely be on our A game, and then I can't leave out special teams. They got a kicker. A freshman that hit a 50-yard plus field goal against Bethune-Cookman, a game winner. So they're good in all 3 phases. They've got some X factor guys in all 3 phases. So we're gonna have our work cut out for it. We really are, but we're excited about the challenge.
Well, Coach, man, I appreciate your time and your effort, man. I can't say enough about you and your staff and your organization. And that's what it's about. Make sure that people understand that we coach football, and our field 50 yards wide and 100 yards long like anybody else. So I appreciate time and effort and good luck, Coach. I got my fingers crossed because my brother's on the other side. Family over everything. But hey, Coach, you go after it, man. Hey, the best team win. I really think that the 2 best football teams in this conference is playing this weekend.
Absolutely, Coach. I feel that way also, Coach. Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach. Anything, guys?
Sam Shade, man. That's a championship ready coach.
That was a great interview by Coach Shade. He looks like he's measured and prepared for the championship game. I can't wait till 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock Central. On Saturday, man. It looks like it should be a great matchup.
If everything work out, I'll be right there on the sideline.
I might have to drive. You know what? What is it? That's 2 hours. I might have to get on up and drive on down there, man. I'm
gonna fly to Atlanta now.
Are you?
If you want to ride, let's ride.
All right, yeah, okay.
You know how we do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm kind of interested in maybe getting down there. I'm gonna have to figure that out.
And the game is early.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. That's
why about 3 o'clock. We be back in Atlanta with a cigar.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, with no further ado, we have the Clark Atlanta head coach, Teddy Keaton, waiting on your introduction, Coach.
Man, Coach Keaton, as he say, my little brother, or he right next to me. Man, what can you say about a guy that came in a school that ain't had won 7 games in 50 years, Coach? And then he came in and turned the light on just like that. All he said, "Oh man, the light's on the wall." Evidently, they couldn't find the wall, and he found the wall, and he's been a winner. He's old school, you know. Coach Danzy, he'll maybe talk something about him back in the day. You know, I can't say enough about him and choosing a staff that can go from one school and make that school a winner, then go over to another school and win 1 year. I think it's the biggest turnaround in college football to go from 0-10 to 7-2 and breaking all kind of records. And as he say, he's changing the culture of Clark. And with no further ado, the man, Teddy Keaton.
How y'all doing?
No, now, you got your cameras and stuff on you. Now, was you crying when y'all won and then y'all was watching Albany State beat? Did you cry?
Well, I didn't cry.
With joy?
I didn't cry. What I did was I took a moment to take that moment in. I think life is a series of moments. You got to realize where we came from to where we had to go. And, you know, a couple weeks before, the week we played Tuskegee, we needed Albany State to lose to Savannah State. Savannah State took care of his business. Then we was rooting for Albany State to take care of Fort Valley to get into the game. And it all happened. You've been coaching long enough to understand when you was in control of your fate and Miles came along and destroyed that for you. And then you turned around and you had to depend on somebody else to do their job to get you there. I just think it all kind of lined up, and I had to take a moment to say thank you. Yeah. The good Lord gave us an opportunity, put us on a stage, and we created value for ourselves, and I was very happy for that.
Coach, man, it's incredible what you've done, you know, and you know, to go from 0-10, hadn't won 2 or 3 games in 2 or 3 years, 20th coach, and you came in and just did like that, and it seems so seamless, Coach. You know, because we always say on this show, there's winners and then there's coaches that try to win, and you got the formula, and the formula works. You know, what can you tell, you know, another coach, you know, about the things that you do that can help them out as well?
Don't hire your friends. Hire people that can coach, people that can teach, people that's going to add value to the team, the ones that's going to create, you know, a space or an opportunity to mentor young men. I didn't do this by myself. I got a great group of guys that work with me. I'm from support staff all the way up to my spot. Those guys put in a lot of hours. They put in a lot of work. They watch a lot of film. We go back and forth with each other. And, you know, as your brother, he's forgotten more football than I could learn. EJ Jr. is growing as a person. You know, he's done a really good job of taking care of, you know, they've been head coaches. So they've taken a lot off my plate to help me when I need somebody to lean on. Those situations are a lot difficult when you go into places like Allen and you go into places like Clark, Atlanta, that don't have a culture of winning. So to be able to, you know, get over the distractions that, you know, that's going to be created by the institution and by the people that's been there, that's been a part of the losing for, you know, centuries and over, you know, they've been there. So they feel like, okay, what's this coach going to do differently than anybody else will do? So I'm just proud that I got enough people around me that, you know, I can lean on to help us, you know, create this opportunity that we've created for ourselves.
Yeah, Coach, 50 years. They ain't won 7 games in 50 years, Coach. 50. And you come in and do it, and it ain't even been a year yet. If the coach has changed, if the coach ain't changed by now, I don't know what it is. How was the campus? Is it lit up? Did you get, you know, your cheesecakes and everybody want to buy you and take you to lunch? How do you get around the ATL?
Well, what I've told them, I mean, they know this since I got in there. I don't like the distractions. So I tell them all the time, stop, you know, Treat it like a regular game. The guys have done a really good job, and the campus have bought into my philosophy. We're not asking, don't, do things that's crazy. I mean, don't try to give them send-offs and pep rallies and all other stuff. Treat it like it's a normal day. Treat it like it's we doing, and we've been going about our business every day, doing what we do. We've been in, Monday is always a day where we kind of correct things from the game before. And then we went about yesterday. Today was our, this is where we put the meat and bones in, and we watching film. Like, as soon as I get finished with you guys, I got to watch some film and figure out what we did at practice that was good and what's bad. And we got to work on things that we just need to take care of.
And Coach Keaton, I want to personally thank you. You're the first head coach to appear on HBCU Coaches Corner 3 times. This is your 3rd time. You shortly after you got hired at Clark Atlanta, you were gracious enough to come on and really give us a motivational talk. And then before the season, we were able to interview you, and you were pretty darn confident, Coach, that you were gonna, whatever Clark had been doing, you weren't gonna be part of that. You were very confident about that. I'm not gonna say that you predicted this outcome, but I'm sure you're not surprised by it.
I'm not totally surprised by it because I'm a process kind of guy. I love LC. LC is never gonna let you get too high or too low, and he's always gonna make sure that we always stay on the even keel. And when I got there, we was trying to figure out what we needed to do in order to change. And I'm talking about over the whole Christmas break, me and Coach Cole had a lot of conversations with each other, even about down to the personnel that we wanted to hire. Now, we didn't get everybody we wanted, but we got everybody we needed. And then we started talking about how we were going to fill in the gaps. And we started evaluating and watching tape of what they had there. And then we said, we got to clean this whole house up if we want to win. So we started going through the winter workouts, and we started seeing little bits and pieces that maybe we could work with. And then we had players at other places that say, we'll take these guys and do some things for us. And it all kind of worked out. And we stayed the course. We worked hard. I think every player that I always tell them the winter championship, everybody involved going to have to participate at some point in time. So I think the coaches did a tremendous job of developing the young men that were maybe when you had injuries, they had to step up and play. We got a lot of young guys playing on the field as well as a good group of older guys that's there. And I think the mixture, and I have to give that credit to Coach Cole because he told me we got to take advantage of, as we call it in our office, the free agency, meaning that the transfer portal was a free agency pool and we need to pull some guys for some immediate help. And it didn't help that when we left from Allen, there were guys that wanted to come with us that were really good football players that's coming off a 7-3 team. So we picked the guys that we felt that were good, that were going to help us immediately. And then we signed the freshman class and what we call the draft picks. We got some good freshman players that were able to play on special teams and add value in that area. And now some of those guys are on the field actually getting quality snaps with the starters and working into the second team of what we're doing. And it kind of just worked itself out. We go by, play the next play. We want to go 1-0 every day. And 1-0 every week, no matter what the situation is. We're just going to keep fighting through. Now, it hadn't been easy. It's been some difficult times, but we worked our way through them, and we put ourselves in this opportunity to play for the SIAC Championship.
Now, Coach, congratulations for getting to the championship game. But one of the things I like most about you, the game technically is on the road. You are 5-0-1 on road games. How have you been able to focus and your team to go into another and especially the big win against Bethune-Cookman? How have you able to allow your team to say, hey, we're in a hostile environment, but we're going to play very well on somebody's home field?
I think most coaches would tell you they would rather play on the road than to play at home because you got them that Thursday on the travel or maybe that Friday. You got them at the hotel. They locked in. They ain't got many friends they can call. They don't know their way around out there. So we gonna spend time doing ball, do a little bonding, and then get up the next day and go play in somebody else's environment because they all they got. The only fans, in other schools I've been at, that there's the only fans was just us. But at Clark Atlanta, we travel pretty well. Those guys, especially when we started winning, they really started coming out the woodworks. But I think that those guys just, when they go on the road, it's just something different. I kind of like being on the road, especially with this team. It's home that I hated to play at because there was no culture there. So they didn't know when to clap. I mean, you can't be mad at them. They just haven't been used to winning. So most of the kids didn't show up. Fans be like, we'll just hear about, whatever happens on the radio, or we'll check the score on Facebook. And then once we started winning, we just saw the stands start filling up. The student section got big. And by the time we got to the Morehouse game, the student section was so lit. I mean, I could say, let's go back to the Tuskegee game, really. They was really just, they got behind us. The cheerleaders knew when to cheer. The band knew when to play. And everybody was just on the bandwagon. So I was really excited about the environment that I had a small part in creating at CAU, that now when we go on the road, we feel very good about what we about to do.
Well, Coach, let me follow up on that, because I saw a viral video, and I'm assuming this is I believe that's your president that was with the band and the cheerleaders that was down there dancing and everything. Right. That has gone viral all over HBCU spaces. So, Coach, that is so amazing that you have brought this energy to that campus, where all the way from the administration all the way down to, you say, to the students and the cheerleaders. That is just so amazing. I just want to give you credit. And also to tie into that, how was it for you to represent your university on First Take? We were very proud. I think you did an amazing job, Coach. But how was it to get that national exposure with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp?
I thought it was the greatest thing that could have happened to Division II football. That's why I didn't make the moment about myself or my institution. I took a time to think about the conference. And, being that First Take was on, there's no other stage, I believe, in Division II football that can create a space like the AU Center. The AU Center is a wonderful platform. The names are huge there. You can't go anywhere and you can't mention CAU, Morehouse, or Spelman and not no one know where they at. So I thought the energy that they showed up with, and I thought that everybody there was just, oh man, it was another one of those moments that I took in and just wanted to live in that moment for one time, because that's the first time I ever been on national TV. But I've done a lot of interviews, as Rocky alluded to, that I've been on the Coaches Corner 3 times. I don't know if that's because I'm doing well or because my big brother decides that he want to talk to me because I won't answer his texts or something.
Well, Coach, you were looking good. I just want to tell you, Coach, you was looking good, man. I said, that's my guy right there, boy. You dead sharp, Coach. And they say you're casket sharp now.
Well, you can thank my wife. She picked my clothes out, and she only let me dress up, make sure I don't disrespect the family in no type of ways when I go out.
Yeah. Coach, you had, early when we first talked, and you sent me, their what they've been doing, their football program been doing in the past, and I guess it motivated you as well, and that's the thing, that taking over programs that hadn't won, the only thing you do is go up. But kind of talk about what made you do that, what made you go back and look at their record and all that kind of stuff. Because you had me do, look what you said. I was telling you stuff, that you already knew, but I did my homework as well.
What made me go back? I think the only way you can solve a problem is that you have to find where the origin's at. So when you got deep-seated, rooted people that's been in an organization for a long time, that's been a culture of losing, you need to figure out why they losing. So when I went in and I started going through the rosters, the years of digging and got with some of the old people, there's a guy named Tweet Williams here. He's 99 years old, but he's sharp as a knife. He came in, and Mr. John Powell's, rest his soul, he passed away after we won against Fort Valley. I think those guys worked real heavily with me to give me the history of CAU and make me understand the difference between CAU and Clark College. So when I got all the history about what was there, who the coaches were, what they did, and what they brought, because each one of them contributed to chip away at the losing. Then you find out it's deep rooted into the walls that they wanted to be an academic institution. But I think at any institution, you got to have the 3 A's. You got to have academics, athletics, and you got to have activities. I don't care how smart you are. There's going to be a time that you're going to need a break. So those activities play an important role to your campus. And I think with athletics, it creates that competitive spirit and bring the spirit of the institution, because there's not many stages that you can get on that you can get 90 to 100,000 people there that don't gather for a sport event, and it brings everybody back, which is why homecoming is a big event at most of our schools, because we come together around a football game and enjoy our family and friends. So after I figured all the things out that I needed to figure out, I figured out now that's when we went into our process of figuring out. Some people saw it as a challenge. I saw it as an opportunity to create a legacy. So when you take over a program that's been that notorious bad, if I lose, what would everybody say? He did just what everybody else did. But if I win, I become one of the, greatest coaches that ever did it. So I was excited about the opportunity, and I was very, very, very open about trying to we was conscious about what we were doing. Everything was done with straight structure, process, the whole nine, even down to picking the staff. I have to remind you, we really went, Johnny Cole's brother, LC, spent a lot of time on the phone trying to make sure that we got the right people in the right seats at the right time that will give us the identity that we needed to create for Clark Atlanta University, which has now, when I say we superseded everything I thought we were going to be able to do, yes, we did. I thought maybe we win 4-5 games and we go on about our business and be happy. Some of the people are only saying we just needed to win 1 and they would feel happy. You talk about a program in the last, since 2017, that had only won 5 games. Now that's difficult for anybody to come in and try to turn that around. You talking about players on the team that have been a part of 2 0-10 teams and 4 coaches. Now, how do you change the mindset of those people? So that was our process. And now we look up and we're in a championship game. Wow. Now you guys wonder why I'm sitting there with my hands up and I'm giving nothing but thanks and the high praise of, what a moment to live in, that you went to a team and we went from what I call from worst to first.
Well, Coach Keaton, let me ask you this here, Coach. I got a couple of questions for you. One, Coach Keaton, you say you came into the season with expectations, maybe 4 or 5 games, Coach. But to be perfectly honest with you, Coach, you had won 4 games before October came, right?
Yes, sir.
So at what point did you realize that you may have something special brewing here?
After we beat Fort Valley.
That's the first game of the year.
I knew then, because Fort Valley in our eyes is a championship program. They're going to be in the top 3 in our conference every year. And Sean Gibbs has done a tremendous job with that program. Slightly resourced, not as much as anybody else, but you're talking about a school that sits in a hotbed of talent in Twig and Peach and those counties down there, Dooley. There's a lot of football players down there that you can put a team together and probably smack most of them, because those guys don't do nothing but play football and work out and be athletic. When we go down there and you score 7 touchdowns on a team that just came off an 8-3 season, possibly right outside the possibilities of playoffs, and one of the hottest quarterbacks in the conference, and always good on defense. I mean, every year you're going to find 4 or 5 kids on their defense that probably could play at the next level. Sean got one of the best running backs that's in the conference with Marshall, and he had Bell back and those guys. And when our guys went out there and they played lights out, and I saw the weapons we had at receiver that we had saw them at practice, but not really knowing that they were going to be able to put on a show like they were able to put on a show. And I was like, wow, I may have created something special here.
Hey, Coach, I was able to see you guys play. I mean, see you guys do an inter-squad scrimmage week 0 when I was down there to see the SWAC MEAC Challenge. And what I noticed with your guys is, in my opinion, your guys didn't look like D2 guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then you had a guy out there slinging the rock that made it look, that reminded me of Warren Moon throwing the ball, right? So, Coach, you had to, and this is what I want to do. And also, moving a week forward, you guys were on national television against Fort Valley, and you had a color analyst that was at that game that also announced it. I want to ask Coach Cole this question. What did you think about the team going into the first game? Because me and you talked. Kind of share your thoughts about what you thought about the team going into the Fort Valley game. Because I thought you were spot on with your analysis of what they would be this upcoming year. I'm talking to Coach Cole. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I missed it. I'm sorry.
No. What I'm saying is me and you talked after watching their inter-squad scrimmage. And then going into we talked before you were the color analyst on the nationally televised game that they played against Fort Valley. You had an assessment of that team going into that game, and I think it was spot on at that point when before they even played Fort Valley. What was your assessment of that team, and what did you see in them, Coach Cole? Because everything is kind of played out the way you thought it would.
Well, talking with Coach, and also seeing them at Allen College, and I knew what type of system Coach them was going to bring to Clark, which they brought. But they not only brought David, then he brought 4 guys, wide receivers that I think can play at any level. When I say any level, I mean any level. They're yak yards, meaning yards after the catch, is unbelievable. They're dangerous, and Coach Keaton told me, that, man, and then he got to telling me where he finding these guys at. I'm like, damn, Coach T, you must be the Wizard of Oz. You go find them all over the place. And for him and his staff to evaluate these type of kids, man, I mean, it's incredible. I can't say enough, Coach Keaton, about what you guys have done. I mean, my background, and matter of fact, I'm a little jealous of you because you took my place. My brother's a defensive guy and I'm an offensive guy. Dang, you know what I mean? But I've been there. I know the seat. It's incredible. Coming in this game this week, let's talk about, are you guys healthy where you are? Are you 100%? Are you 85% coming into this game? Do you feel good, about your health issues?
I would say we're about 85%. I mean, when you get this late in the season, you're going to deal with nicks and bobos and people trying to heal up. They didn't play the long stretch of football games, a lot of tough competitive football games. The travel wears on you because we didn't travel a lot this year. And I'm talking about we almost done a world tour. I think that everybody is trying to be the best, but I told my coaches, let's make sure that we put the right people on the field that's healthy enough to make a decision and do what they need to do. Don't let a guy, because his heart may say he want to play, but his body may not allow him to be at 100%, and he hurts the team. I would rather have a healthy, fresh body somewhere that he may not be as smart as you want him to be or as coached up in the system the way you want him to be, but we need to play with those guys that could give us a great chance of being successful, and not guys that's trying to, they mean well, but they may not be getting it done for you.
Yeah, I know you talked earlier about you like being on the road, and I know what you mean by that. How is the kids are they getting a sense of what they've done? Of course, now the bar is up. Are they getting a sense? I know it's coming from you and your staff. Is it getting into your kids that they know that, hey, we about to go play for the SIAC Championship? We that guy. We that team.
Well, I'm gonna breed confidence in anybody. It's a stain you can't wipe off. Confidence is. So I'm gonna breed confidence in those guys about being on that stage, and we're not gonna make the moment too big. We just gonna do what we normally do. We've been going just like it's a regular game. But when I talk about being on the road, have you ever been to the AUC Center? I mean, it's a distraction just walking down the promenade. So I don't know if you really think about it. I would rather for them to be gone because the night before a game, they could be in other places. And it's a lot more excitement things going on than hearing Coach Keaton talk about football. So I think
go ahead. I'm
I,
sorry.
I just wanted to ask Coach Keaton, and I'll throw it to you guys. But Coach, I gave you a nickname. I don't know if Coach name, but I call you Coach Rat Paws, right? Cause you went early on. I think y'all had played 2 games, Coach, and you was like, they can't eat that rat poison. What are y'all doing? Quit patting them on the back. Don't let them read the headline. And so what I'm saying, with all the success you had just 1 year, Coach, how have you avoided your boys eating that rat poison?
Well, if you ever been around LC Cole and myself,
Hey,
it ain't no rat poison. I think that I tell you can't coach without negativity. And a lot of coaches, people don't understand that the negativity that we bring to you is more positive because the moment I stop talking to you is the moment that you know that I feel like I can't pour into you anymore. And I wanted the kids to understand that the game is won on the field. It's won by preparation. It's won by doing the right things, not just sometimes, but all the time. And a lot of times the kid get to reading his clippings, and next thing you know, he think he better than everybody else. And then he goes out there and he has a bad game. And I tell them all the time that, it comes with the territory. A lot of players, talk about my quarterback a lot. And he's a great guy. Sometimes like he just had a bad game, this weekend that he threw 5 interceptions. And yeah, he had a bad game. But, I tell everybody, well, why you didn't take him out? Why you didn't do this? And why you didn't do that? Well, I tell them, I said, but I'll take you to a school that I got a lot of respect for, which is Allen University. And David Wright was their leader. David Wright went 7-3 there. You took David Wright away from Allen University and a couple of his friends, and now they're 2-6. You take David Wright over to a team that haven't won in all the years that I've been living, and you turn around and he's 7-2 and playing for a championship. So I posed this question to him: where would we be without David Wright? And nobody, we do this with all people, and they forget that those kids are 18 to 22 years old. There's a process that they have to go through, and no matter how good, David's 175 yards away from throwing for 10,000 yards in his career, and he's probably over 7. He might be, I think, approaching around the 70 touchdowns in his career. Probably on scale to be one of the greatest quarterbacks that play in the SIAC. But I don't allow my kids to get too caught up in their numbers because now they start playing for themselves and not for the betterment of the organization.
Yeah. One thing I got to get this out from Johnny Thornton, coach, and it's something for you and your program. He said his brother is Dr. Billy Thornton. He is a CAU alumnus, and he played for Coach Mack in 74 and 77. He's put his cell number down. I'll give you that later. Said, Coach James Touchstone is a notable CAU running back. Coach Touchstone coached me in high school. He said, Coach Key, I will make sure my big brother give you $1,000 for your program. I'm not speaking to him until he donates to your program. So I want to give you whole Coach Thornton.
Well, I salute that.
$1,000 to your program. And I appreciate him calling in.
Tell him that I appreciate that. Could he make it 2? Because wings in Atlanta cost $30 for 6.
Coach say he got the lemon pepper wet, man. That cost a little bit extra.
Coach, about the game. What Clark University got to do? 4 things you guys got to do, or 3 things that you got to do. I took one out of Coach Bishop. You can ask the other part.
The first thing,
do. What Clark don't have to do.
The first thing that's got to happen is we got to stop the run. The second thing we got to happen is we got to be much better on special teams. And the third thing that's got to happen is that we got to control what we do on offense and make sure that we don't outpace ourselves or turn the ball over or doing, me things, trying to, because we're on that stage and we're on TV and guys want to be seen and throwing things. We had a lot of pressure that was placed on us when we got ready to play Miles at homecoming. That was the biggest stage that some of my kids had ever seen, because homecoming at CAU was about football. It was a party that was surrounded by a football game that's playing intramurals down there while they party. So now, to get the kids to stay focused, I don't know if you've ever been to a AUC homecoming, and I'm not talking about my school, the school that I work for. What I'm saying is that it's a party. I'm talking about a whole live event with full, most schools homecoming starts on Friday. In the AUC Center, it starts on that Sunday after and ends on that Monday for brunch. And when you talk about a party going on, it's hard to keep a kid focused because there's so many events and things that were going on. And then you're playing arguably one of the best teams in the conference. So do you know how hard it was to keep a team focused to go in to play a game on homecoming? And he probably, went to a phone party the night before the game and thinking he was going to come in and just play, because like I said, when you're 18 to 22 years old, at most institutions, it's hard to stay focused. But in the AUC Center, it's definitely hard to stay focused when you see, everything that's going on. But I think the most important thing is eliminate turnovers, stop the run, and play good special teams. And if we do those things well, if you look at the stat sheet when we played them, they blocked the punt. And the analytics say they blocked the punt for a touchdown. The analytics say that if you can block a punt block a punt period in a game, your chances of winning just went up 80%. So that's a big plus there. I think we got to do better on kickoff, covering the kicks. Our average field positioning for them started at about the plus 40, the 40-yard line. Our average field positioning started at, like, we took the ball at the 10-yard line or the 15-yard line, which makes a lot of pressure that on your punter, if you can't get, if you don't get a first down to be able to split field positioning, now you're talking about they playing on a half a field and you asking them and you're giving them cheap points. And we got to do a better job in those areas. And I think those are areas that we worked on. I think that I think we did a good job, but those 5 or 4 turnovers, they had 3 turnovers that turned into 21 points for them, plus the punt, which gave them 28 points of the 49 they scored.
Coach, let me ask you this question, and I'm glad you said that. You talked about pacing yourself, and we got a lot of lay people. I want you to expound on that, but also to go into a point when you have a quarterback that is as talented as Wright. How do you say, hey, settle down, don't try to do too much, stay within the game?
That's a hard thing to ring a guy in that what I call is a gunslinger. He's learned that he can throw himself in a game and he can throw himself out of a game. Sometimes you can score too quick. Sometimes you can, when you play a team like Miles that I call is a grinder team, they're one of those players that they plays like 2 or 3 chunk yards, and they're going to pound on you and they're going to lay on you and they're going to try their best to wear you down. With a team like that, we got to make sure we pace ourselves with them, that we don't create, when you start forcing things, you start creating turnovers, and they just kind of wait on you to give them something. And if you give them some, they know how to capitalize on it. And you're working against the clock as well when you play teams like that. The first drive, we went down the field and scored, but the next possession, they had the ball for over 7 minutes. And those, you can't play catch up with a team grinding on you, and you can't get off the field on 3rd down. So I feel like we want to try to slow it down a little bit, try to play at the pace they play at.
Coach, one last thing, and then I'll turn it back over. And we talked about this being a championship game. The previous team was 0-11. How do you instill, because you did bring winners from Allen, but for the overall squad, for players that were not there, like you said, you had players that were on the team last year. How do you say, instill that to say, hey, we are a championship team. I know you're new to this winning, but how do you instill that, even though I know you've done that through the course of the season, but just one game right here?
Well, I think that what you do is the players that we bought there already knew what to expect. And they set the standard for the players that were there and the new players that joined us. And they did a good job in their leadership and then what I call peer leadership of setting that standard and that work ethic and everything you needed to have. Is it all the way there yet? No, it's not there all the way yet. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. But at the end of the day, we did change the culture to get us where we at today. But for this game, like I said, we didn't try to do anything differently. I tell people all the time, you prepare for these games just like you prepare for anything else. Don't make the moment too big. A lot of the kids and their parents, and they put a lot of pressure on them. And, you got the people around the campus patting them on the back. They want to do they want to do pep rallies. They want to do everything. But like I tell the people, they get mad at me at the institution because I don't want to do the things that go around winning. And I tell them we just want to treat it like a normal day and don't apply that much pressure on them and, think that they're going to, at 18 to 22, be able to process that. Because right now, some of them are the most handsomest men on the campus. And if they win the game, they're going to be the finest man on campus. So,
Coach,
yes,
ain't it 40 to 1, something like that? 40
yeah,
girls
it's a lot.
to one guy?
It's too much pressure for one man.
Hey, Coach, let me kind of switch the conversation a little bit because I'm not sure where this could head. But Coach, you got a young coach on your staff, Coach. I was able to see him out there really working with the guys, really out there developing players. Other than him having to have a restroom break, he was on the job the entire time I was down there. Tell us about Coach Caleb and what he's been able to add to your program down there.
Coach who?
Caleb. Is his name Caleb?
Running back coach, I think.
Cody. No. My little coach. Coach Keaton.
He resting right now. Here you go. He's sleeping on the job right now.
Cohen, I'm sorry. I messed his name up. Cohen.
I'm
sorry.
Cohen.
Hey, nepotism. He get to sleep on the job.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He got his dad. He waits for me to come home. It's the greatest feeling in the world to have your son. And I know I really appreciate him. And he loves Coach Cole. Coach Cole is like that. That's who he idolized. He wants to be with. And Coach Cole acts as his grandparent and just standing there with him. But Coach Cohen loves what he's doing. And I'm talking about Saturday. He was in every picture. I'm talking about the check presentation, the trophy presentation. He was on my interviews, and I thought he was gonna make it to the interview tonight, and I was gonna let him get on there. And he's been over here watching this thing, and I said, I guess the time said it's time to go to bed, Daddy. But he's done a tremendous job with me. I love the fact that he wants to learn football, and now he's wanting to watch it, and he's starting to pay attention to it. He's only 4 years old, but he kind of got a grasp of what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it was sensational to watch him and to watch the players kind of take to him, man. And of course, him interacting with LC. He was really, for a guy to be that young, man, and be engaged that way about football. Hey, Coach, you don't have to worry about buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards and any of that kind of stuff. You just got to keep playing footballs around the house, and I'm sure he's entertained.
Any ball around the house, he go throw it. I'm talking about it's gonna be everywhere. His mama gonna be fussing at me about, he gonna break something in here. But he's a boy's boy. He really is, and he's taking the Coach Cole's son Clay, and him and Clay, when they get together, it's a whole party. They be running around. He's tired before we get to the first quarter.
But like I say, Coach, to see that was sensational to see him that close to the football team and the guys to embrace him being around in that environment. I'm sure he's having the time of his life.
Yeah. He is.
Man, big game, Coach. Big game this week.
Man, we just thank y'all for everything y'all do for HBCU football. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. Even though I was on First Take and everything else, but you just remember that this the small, organizations like you guys that got your podcasts, the things that have been covering HBCU football, who really knows what's going on and what's happening with our players, our young men, everybody that's around. We look forward to get these opportunities. I've been on 4 shows in one day today. And I mean, everybody's happy about what we're doing. And I think that it's just tremendous the stage that we're about to set in Birmingham, Alabama, because we didn't woke up the dead at Clark Atlanta. I'm talking about the W.E. Du Bois people are out. They are buying. We got 9 buses going to Miles. So if nothing else, the environment is going to be. Miles is a great. I call it the President George T. French bowl game, because he has played a great role in building Miles College, and then he comes over to CAU and try to create the same culture that he created there. And what a wonderful feeling as a president to go in and the 2 teams that you created is now playing for a championship. I mean, I think there's some value in what he's done as a president that allows that stage to be that big for, most of the time in the SIAC, if you go to the game, because we were playing at different locations, a team that was playing like maybe Benedict would travel a little bit, Albany State would travel a little bit, but it wouldn't be a lot of people at the game. But I think this game here going to be one for the stage.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I got to do this for you again. Now, you said there's 9 buses. I know I've been in Atlanta since 1994. I know a lot of those CAU alums. They got a lot of money. So like you say, they like to have them $100, $200, $400 parties. So I'm going to say to all you CAU people, if you can pay $100 for a party, you can donate $100 to Coach Keaton to keep that bus rolling. So I just want to put that out there for you, Coach, because like I say, it's amazing to see, because me being in Atlanta, and like you said, nobody talked about the football game ever. This was the first time that I had friends of mine, and I said, where y'all going, man? Oh, man, we got to get down here early because we got to go to the football game. Y'all got to go where? So that is a testament to what you have done and excitement that you brought to CAU.
Yeah. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm continuing to hope to be able to continue to provide that type of space for the people in the AUC Center. Because after the game at Morehouse, a player came up to me and it almost touched me. He said, Coach, I just want you to know you're inspiring more people than you really know you are. What you've done, not for just Clark Atlanta, but we're talking about for the AUC Center, period. You are pushing everybody to pay more attention to what we're doing on the field, which is going to make the people up top have to push more money into making sure our programs be a little bit more competitive. And I think they all compete in the academic component. But when it came to the athletic component, that, we kind of pushed it to the side. And I also want to think about the fact that here's a scenario that basketball was the big king there. And, they were trying to make their institution. I don't think they did it on purpose, but it's just a more enjoyable sport to go inside. And it only lasts about an hour and 30 minutes for it to go. But when you go in there, we tell them we live in the South. If football is doing good, the institution is usually doing well.
Yeah. And let me tell you one last thing. For a fact, though, my god brother is a Morehouse alum. You got them Morehouse folks shook, Coach. You got them shook. I'm telling you that right now. That is the first time when I heard my big brother, my god brother, saying, I guess we need to start getting serious about football. So just like you say, a high tide raises all boats, Coach. So I'm telling you something. You got them folks right across the way thinking about football now.
I think they had a meeting, and they had a real serious meeting after that because they wanted that trophy to stay over there. And so I bet you the start of the meeting said, are we interested or are we going to become invested?
Hey, Coach, over at Morehouse, they probably going to suggest that y'all in a dance competition with them before you're in another football game, Coach.
I don't know. We might have to get into a debate about that. I really had a nice time at Morehouse's homecoming. That was our bye week, and I went over, and I had always heard about Spellhouse Homecoming. Do you know, I've never been around so many people with leather couches, no barbecue grills. We talking about catered food.
Okay.
No pots of gumbo.
No pots
no
of gumbo.
No fried wings.
I mean, it was a time to be reckoned with. And I'm talking about it was shoulder to shoulder. And I think we really enjoyed it. But I'm excited. Guys, you don't know how excited I am to be a part of something that's bigger than myself, and the impact that I'm making in the AU Center, and the kids when they see me on campus and I'm not standoffish and I'm with them, and you see we got our president jumping for joy with those students. I think I don't want to be untouchable. And I unapproachable, can't go to the calf and sit down. When you go see those kids and they tell you thank you, I think that's the biggest reward and the flowers you can get, because this group that's about to graduate and this group of freshmen that came to the AUC Center is going to remember what we did, and they're going to start a trend of wanting to be a part of CAU or Morehouse College's process of playing football. And I think that it's going to turn into a whole different game after a while, because the folks with money and the folks that got a little more money, they both coming together to say, we got to figure out how to make this game bigger than what it really is.
Absolutely, Coach. 100%. I'm telling you, I've heard it. Like I said, it is reverberating. Trust me, 100%. You're right.
What is the travel plans, Coach?
We will leave here Thursday, probably around 1 o'clock, and we will head to Birmingham. We're going to try to practice Thursday morning at 11, so we can, see what that looked like, what our kids' energy looked like, and, how they, move about at that time of the day. And then we're going to try to get there and, get ourselves situated. We got some things we need to do, like films and meetings, and get everybody situated. And we got Friday morning, we have the banquet, where we, recognize both teams as being in the championship game, and all the superlatives, the major superlatives like Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and all those things will be given out on that day. And then we'll go back and practice. My high school team, my old high school team, is playing Fairfield High School on that day. So I'll probably get up and try to run over there and catch a little bit of that game, and then we'll get ready to go play football on Saturday morning.
Hold up, Coach. Now, last time I was talking to Coach Cole said that y'all drove down the Florida Memorial, got off the bus, put your shoulder pads on, played the game, finished the game, got a sip of water, jumped on the bus, came right back. Now, that's a 15-hour ride, Coach. How y'all gonna stay 2 days and y'all only going two hours?
Man, this is championship, man. Coach, I'm the championship, Coach.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, Rocky. Winning changes a lot of things, though.
Tell him, Coach. We ain't going, Coach. We going first class.
They might find y'all some new cliques, huh, Coach?
Boy, I tell you what, boy, you ought to see the people that just stopped by the office talking about what we need and how we gonna get it done. And
It's we, ain't it, Coach? It's always
we now. I'm scared that I know that people, fans will turn on you in a minute now. You ain't been used to winning it. If I don't come back to Atlanta with that trophy, they might have my tires on 4 flats.
Coach, I can honestly tell you this: they not gonna do nothing because they don't want to go back to Ophir.
I would agree with you. The love that they've given in the AUC Center. I'm not just talking about Clark Atlanta. I'm talking about the AUC Center in its whole. Clark Atlanta has did nothing but show out since we've been winning. And they coming up. I don't know where they coming from. They coming from everywhere. Every week I meet a new football player. I meet a new coach. I just meet a lot of people that are thankful for what we're doing. And I think that's why you do the job, and you're very happy about that. And you hear conversations. Now I can't go to the grocery store and somebody be like, hey, you that coach at Clark Atlanta, keep up the good work. Or you see people with Clark Atlanta sweaters on, and you see them, they prideful about their school, and they love themselves some CAU. And I'm glad that I just wanted to add a little bit more pride and a little bit more competitive spirit by boosting their football program. And for my first year to be playing for a championship, I think we've set the bar real high.
Hey, Coach, last thing.
Wait, right, hold on, because I'm sorry. With that being said, what would it mean to you to win a championship, you personally?
I've won a couple, but never a SIAC title.
Right.
And I don't know, it might be the day Johnny Cole get to see me cry, because out of all the places that I probably could have won one at, this was probably be the one that would be more significant and would carry on for the rest of my life. Because what we've been through and where we at today is like, wow. That's where it would be. I don't know. It just would be. I don't even know. I'm just waiting on that moment because we'll work. The kids are working really hard. It's been long. This for the first time, and I can honestly say this. This is the first time I've ever coached football in 26 years that I'm ready for the season to be over with, because it's been a draining, hard to change a culture of not just the players, but we talking about a whole entire institution from the administration all the way down to what it takes to win. So now to cap this off with a championship would be almost a remember the Titans too.
You know, Coach, you say that, and it would be a tremendous movie. Even if you don't win a championship, Coach, this season will be a tremendous story and a movie. But I also want to say, Coach, you're one of those guys, one of the few guys in HBCU that has leveraged social media to create a story and a narrative about your team. Like it's almost like you took Deion Sanders' playbook and that he did at Jackson State and did something similar to that. I follow you and CAU football, and you guys do a great job with engaging, just football fans as a whole. And I can see the transformation of your facilities, those new chairs and all those kind of things that you've been getting over the last few weeks. And so what I'm saying, Coach, how has that helped tell the story of Clark football this season?
I think if you don't tell it, you can't control the narrative. So I think when you put it out there, because there's not a lot of national media, not a lot of real media, the local media don't come unless it's something bad happen or it's a big stage that they want to put you on. So I think you have to, embrace that. And I also know that's where the players live. I watch my players and what they do, and I keep young folk around me so that I can stay young to know what's going on, to how I can attract other talents to my program. So when we embrace that, and I paid for that out of my own pocket, when I got to Clark, they never used their social media platform to its ability. So I thought that we need to get a media team to engage the players, the coaches. Coach Cole went viral twice on social media since he's been there, and the students. And you get their comments, and there's a lot of vloggers that's already there that do this on a daily basis, that we needed to capture those moments so that people could understand what it took behind the scenes to see what it looked like at a D2 on a smaller level. Now, during the game, those people who did not come to a game, they could get their highlighted moments. If you notice that we do a lot of things in real time. So if a guy scores a touchdown, they try to capture that moment, and you got somebody right now posting the touchdown as it happened. And that stuff is what major college football programs do to enhance their brand and what they're selling. I don't need to do much to enhance CAU's brand, but its athletic brand was not where everybody else was in the country. And that was my goal of trying to get everybody involved, which led to all these platforms want to speak to us, wanted to see us and what we did. And you got the people around the conference call it be Deion 2.0.
But I need to contact the media, SIAC, the commissioner or whatever. They got an SID for the conference.
I think that's in all schools, and I think all of you guys have been around long enough that the SIDs is a hit and miss at most institutions.
Well, I was asking, does the conference got it?
They don't. And that's what I'm saying, that all schools on all levels, whether it be FAMU or anyway, sometimes you go on they media, they don't update it enough. They got to have somebody dedicated to just working social media platforms. It's other places that when you guys getting ready to do your show, to do your homework, you got to wait for 2 days for the stats to be on the website. Those things it's unacceptable at the collegiate level. And I as a coach, everybody know I've been very vocal. I speak out about things that other people won't talk about, but there's things that we have to do better if we want more coverage. So if you're thinking that the local news is going to run around searching for the stats of the game or who won the game, or you can't find out about who won the game till Monday at work, and then sometimes when you get to work, the score wrong or the stats up there wrong or the roster don't have the right numbers to go with the right players, that we got to do a better job as institutions to put effort. I mean, making an intentional effort of making sure that we do these things to help broadcast and help create value for our kids so they can get NLI deal, and all that stuff that could come with playing football.
Yeah, I was trying. So if you were media, you have to go through you guys SID.
Yes, you do, but I made it easy. You can just go to my page and go to the football page. I got control of that page to make sure that we post the score immediately on all social media platforms. So if I'm riding the
press
bus,
credentials, who do we go through for press credentials?
you go through SID, but if you get to them, you let me know.
Well, good thing I got a key, a straight line to you. You can walk down to his office. At least he
That's
can
right.
leave HBCU Football Coaches Corner some media passes.
Now, Coach, you know what? I'm gonna make a suggestion to you because you're so well loved on that campus. Clark Atlanta has one of the top broadcast journalism schools in the country. They have young ladies that are on national newscasts. So, Coach, you need to get one of those great young ladies to say, listen, I want you to put a football show together and get those stats together and put that out there in a 5-minute blog with you and her or him. But like I said, but again, I know that is a great school for that. So, Coach, listen, you got to listen, Coach, I'm going to tell you one thing. Do not allow these alums to slack, because what I told you the first time you came on here, they got the money. Don't let them folks down at CAU tell you that they don't. They got them big Benz, them Rolls Royce. They brag about all that all over Atlanta. So I'm going to hold it account. Coach Keaton can't say I'm going to. You CAU folks, and you got daughters that are at that school. You got sons at that school in that broadcast journalism. Support this man, because, like Coach says, look at the money that Coach is going to be able to fundraise for CAU. Look at what he's going to be able to do for the football team, for the basketball team. So I want to really see this CAU family to really come behind you, Coach, because like I said, you building something, and they are right there for you, Coach. They are right there.
And they doing a great job of coming together. I mean, some of them got so bad, they was, talking about making sure they paid me and do everything they supposed to do, that they had to turn the comments off because they was letting them know that if Coach Keaton slip out of here, there's going to be some smoke in the city.
Let them talk, Coach. Let them talk. Let them talk.
Hey, I'm not stopping nothing. I'm just creating the space for them to do it at.
Well, Coach, man, look, hey, my flight, I'll be down there, and seriously, I'll be trying to reach out to the SID. Can you at least walk down and say, can you put the media passes away? Or I don't know how it works.
The conference office, they have not sent them yet, but I'm sure we was on a Zoom call tomorrow. We got ESPN. I mean, I got 11 Alive. I got all kind of stuff going on tomorrow. And it's been a long, as you can tell, I'm tired. As Coach Cohen has already conked out on me. We both wearing it out, but we're trying our best to get all institutions, not just CAU, everybody to do a better job for programs like yourself, that you don't have to run around and search for things, that it should be at your display. At most institutions, when you go, especially the PWIs, they have a media packet for you. They also have a program of how you're going to get in, where you can park at. And sometimes we don't do proper planning for events and doing things the right way. We do more for a concert than we do for an athletic event. And I think that if we did a better job of promoting our kids, their kids will want to send their kids back to our institutions. And I think that if you see the star-studded coaching staff that was going to be in that stadium on Saturday, it's almost like you got EJ Jr., first-round draft pick, Alabama Hall of Famer. You got Sam Shade. You got Antonio Langham. You got Ron McKinney, the first and only linebacker to win the Harlan Hill Trophy in Division II football at North Alabama. I mean, there's going to be a lot of coaches there. George Pugh, Alabama A&M, played at Alabama, the University of Alabama. So that stage is set for one of the greatest, things that probably could happen in HBCU football. And I'm just to be a small part of it. The guy who went from the equipment manager to the head coach and have turned around 3 programs, just to be a part of that is just grateful to my heart.
All right, Coach, man. Good luck. I'll see you guys probably Friday. Coming out and watch you guys. Maybe see if you guys are working out, or if not, we know how we do it. And maybe on Friday, man, I bring you and Coach Shea and the staffs together. And I don't know how you do it on Friday. We sit down and break bread. That's what the old guys, Coach Dansby and them.
Yeah, but we play we play in the early Rooster game, so I don't think none of us go.
Hey, look, I forgot about that. Y'all do go at 11, don't you?
We're gonna be leaving for the stadium at 8:45 just to get there in time for warm up. So you talking about? I'm sure that this stage, I was talking to A.A. Moore, who runs the media for Miles. You might want to get in touch with A.A. Moore over at Miles, and he probably has all the credentials and just trying to get them together to get them out. You might have better luck there than you would with my SID. But he said there's been just a host of media that's trying to be there that's not been potentially in the past that wanted to come, but I know why they're coming, because there's a lot of great people that's going to be in that building to play that game.
Right. Well, good luck, Coach, man, and we're looking forward to a great football game.
Thank you, guys, man, and I hope to see you. Rocky, it's always good to see you. And if when you get up in the morning and we won that trophy, don't call me for 2 days, because I'm gonna still be crying, and the trophy might be in the bed with me sleeping.
Hey, Coach, I'm gonna send you a congratulations email, though, Coach.
I know you're gonna do it, but at the same time, if you don't get a response, charge it to my head.
I understand.
Y'all be blessed, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, man. SIAC Championship week is on.
Oh, it's only popping, Coach. Hey, Coach, if I hadn't already had something scheduled, I definitely would try to accompany you there. But unfortunately, I have some on the books, and I'm gonna have a good time though, Coach. I'm gonna be having a good time. So
Coach,
it's not all bad, and I'll depend on Coach Keaton's social media to keep me updated on the game.
I'll shoot you some scores as it go.
Okay.
As it go. I'm looking for a good game. I don't anticipate it being like it was the last one. When Clark woke up, Miles is already up 3 touchdowns. As you see, he talked about all the turnovers and stuff like that. If Clark can, don't turn the ball over, don't give Miles short fields, they can make it tough for Miles. But Miles is definitely going to be hard to beat, especially playing at home.
Yeah. But I think Coach Keaton has a handle on how to bring home the victory. If he can control the line of scrimmage by controlling the running game, I think that's where the game starts. Once he does that and eliminates turnovers, I just think Derek Wright is going to be the best player on the field, and he's going to give them a chance to win if he can limit the running and eliminate the turnovers. I think it's setting up to be an epic battle.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I'm just going to speak on this. I'm excited because we had 2 black men that represent their university so well. And you know what we also have, Coach? Because you notice, Coach, we get a big bad rap about coaching talent and knowledge in HBCUs. We talk to 2 men that know how to coach.
Yeah, Coach.
That understand the fundamentals, that know what it takes to win. Most of the teams, I've watched both teams play this year. Pretty disciplined. Sometimes, like I said, again, there's a little bit of exuberance, a little bit on the Clark side, just a little bit. But I will say that both of these teams, I think, will come in here focused. I think they understand their assignment. And I think it is going to be that Miles defense. And that's why I asked Coach Keaton about, is he going to be able to play within himself and not try to do too much? That's where I think the game is going to be won or lost. Can he just keep them on schedule? And then when it's there to make the big play, but not force the big play.
You know, the one thing about David Wright is this, and I think Coach Keaton probably has this as a, as a possible plan to win the game. If Clark Atlanta is close at the end of the game, I'm putting my money on Clark Atlanta just because the way they can move the ball and the way they have been able to move the ball in the clutch all season. They've had several victories where they've had, to win the game down the stretch, from the big kick in Bethune-Cookman, and also I want to say Central State. It was a game where it was on the line, down the line, and Coach Keaton and David Wright and the guys, they were able to execute under pressure, and I'm sure they just want a chance to win the game coming down the stretch.
Yeah. Look forward. It's going to be a great game.
Coach, I got a question for you though, Coach. And again, I saw the love between you and your big brother. How nerve-wracking is it for you to sit in those stands and you're not coaching, but you see things and you want to say, LC? Do you get yourself caught up like that, or can you really enjoy the game?
Sometimes that happens, but I'm a professional, and I'm there on the sideline, so I try to keep my personal feelings and things that I see, unless I'm asked. If I'm asked, of course I will say some things, but most of the time I try to go in the game, be on the sideline, and never get in between the coach's box. I stay outside the coach because I know how I am. It's natural, as you say, but of course, I want to see him be successful. So I kind of stay on the sideline.
Steve, I depend on you guys' historic reference as far as this. How common is it for the SIAC Championship coach to get a elevation in his position, get an opportunity at a D1 school?
Now, Coach, I'm thinking about, we've had several coaches to move up to the coach bigger HBCUs, and I can go back to W.C. Gordon as one. Correct me if I'm wrong, right, Coach?
Yeah.
So yeah, I it's not unusual, Rocky, to be honest with you. It has
you
really
talking about Coach Comegy, Coach Woody, Coach. There's been several, but none has went to Division 1A.
Yeah.
No,
he's talking about
I'm talking about just a bigger HBCU, Division 1.
It has been definitely a training ground for a lot of HBCUs, and that has been a good thing. I think what has happened is, and I think, Coach, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're seeing a renaissance of the D2 coaches now. Well, we probably, Coach, can name about 5 or 6 good coaches, where maybe a couple of years ago it was kind of like a brain drain, you know what I mean? And a lot of these programs were kind of pilling along and things like that. So it's refreshing that I see guys that are saying, you know what, I want to take the opportunity. Because let's be honest, and Coach Keaton, I'm going to use Sam Shea. Sam Shea could probably be a defensive back coach right now in the SEC somewhere with who and what he is, without blinking, making $500,000-$600,000. But the fact that he says he wants to hone his craft at Miles College lets you know the dedication that he's going to be, and he's going to move up and be a great coach. Same thing with Coach Keaton. You can see the offensive ability that Coach Keaton has. Coach Keaton, if nothing else, he could be like Will and be a wide receiver coach at a group of 5 without blinking. Now, would that hold him back? Of course, because I believe he is head coaching material. But the fact that he is sitting there and allowing himself to build a program, which is, I will say this, CAU, great place to coach, horrible place to coach. You see what I'm saying? It is Jekyll and Hyde, because while Atlanta is beautiful, you talk about players, but CAU has never supported football. They don't know football. They have never cared about football. So the fact that he's able to go in there and show what he's done, that's going to have a lot of people looking at him for the next level.
Even, they have some good coaches in the SIAC. Even when you look at their record, 7-0, 82, 72, 64, 64, 5-5, 5-5. You know what I mean? And those blue bread teams are up there, you know, and they're there every year. You know, Miles, Clark, Clark is new. Fort Valley, Albany State, Tuskegee. They always gonna be up in there. You know what I mean?
Coach,
So they've
me
hired some good coaches on the Division two level.
Coach Cole and I even put Coach Campbell in this situation as an AD, and we're gonna use A&M. We're gonna fire Maynard potentially, right? So you got Teddy Keaton, you got Sam Shea, you have the gentleman at Albany State, and also Gibbs. What do you consider? Do you give serious consideration to those guys who are already in your footprint and part of what I would consider successful programs?
It's a no-brainer to me for Alabama A&M to bring Sam Shade up there. I mean, that's a hit. That's a hit out the home. It won't be no different than Chennis Berry walking across the street from Benedict on into South Carolina State. You know, it's a home run hitter. It's a no question. You know what I mean? You know, Teddy Keaton at Alabama A&M. You know what I'm saying? Fort Valley, my man at Alabama A&M. Yeah. You know, not I'm just talking about the fit. You know, I'm just talking about the fit. You know, because Alabama A&M is a place that they just solid. You know what I mean? They ain't up and down. They always right here. You know what I mean? So yeah, when you look at that, that's what I see.
Coach, you want me to tell you, and again, I hate doing this because again, we like to be respectful. We don't want anybody to be fired. But I'm gonna tell you something. And I love Coach Keaton, but I'm gonna tell you the place that is built for him is North Carolina A&T.
Yeah.
North Carolina A&T with that
he'll get a chance to do it all over again.
Listen, but with that footprint, with the size of that school, with the money that they have, with a very vocal fan base, and I'm talking about, Coach, that is bubbling because, first of all, and like I say, shout out to Josh Sim and them and HBCU. When you got people from Central and Johnny Thornton that are wearing their behinds out, wearing them out in them streets of Raleigh and Charlotte and Greensboro, I mean, wearing them out, man, listen, them folks from A&T don't take count of that. I got family members that went. So you're talking about a guy that has the charisma, the kind of the bravado that you need for a big program like that. They'll say, hey, I'm here and we're going to beat them guys tomorrow. I'm telling you something, man. Listen.
So we saying Sam Shea from Miles to A&M, Teddy Keaton from Clark to A&T, NCAT, Fort Valley State, Gibbs to Norfolk. Hello. Hello. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those are great fits.
Well, you know what? I mean, and the people that's watching this from Clark, this is all hypothetical. This is all just conjecture. We're just having a conversation. But I also see Teddy Keaton working in Norfolk. I think Norfolk is a city that could work for Teddy Keaton. I think Coach Keaton, in my opinion, is a kind of guy that can really work in a nice size city, and Norfolk is a nice size city. If the pressure in Atlanta is not getting to him, he's able to embrace the celebrity status that he has in Atlanta and make that work and not be distracted and able to keep his team focused. I think he could do the same thing in a Norfolk. You know.
Well, here's my thinking about A&T since they stay in a PWI conference. LC Cole would be great at North Carolina A&T. You know, they play in a PWI conference, which is a old.
And he know what works. He know what works.
He know what works. He's been there before. He'll be a great fit to me at North Carolina A&T. You know what I'm saying? So those we just talking though. You know, of course, we don't want anybody losing their jobs. You know
But
that's
they
not
are.
our thing. But hey, man, you know we've been fixing everything on the HBCU Coaches Corner, so maybe they'll put us on some committee.
Let me ask you this, Campbell. I'm gonna ask you this. This is the last one. If Valley calls Keaton, do you pick up the phone if you Keaton?
No, because see, this is the thing about with Coach Keaton. He's already done that project with CAU. He don't need that. And Allen, because mind you, Allen did not even have a football. Like I told you, I sponsored Allen University. Allen is a basketball school. They did not even have a football team when I sponsored, and which is ironic. It was when Trump won in 2016. I sponsored Allen University, their Royal Court, and I went up there for their homecoming, which was around basketball, and met a lot of football players. So no, there's no need for him to basically take a dead project. It's not going to happen in Valley. It's too many variables and obstacles compared to where you got, again, the A&Ms, the Norfolks, because one thing about that Norfolk footprint, you're talking about tremendous athletes in that Tidewater area, tremendous athletes that you're going to be able to get.
That's another program for LC Cole, Mississippi Valley State.
Now, see,
a
here's the
turnaround
thing.
project.
Yeah, now, Coach, and again, just because of things that you and your brother have had to endure, that will be a great challenge for you and your brother.
Yeah.
That would be a great challenge for you and your brother. And it will be something that I think will be a redemption for both of you all to go to Val. Because I think what you guys have gone through your careers, Coach Keaton's a young coach. Coach Shade is a young coach. This is where you see, and you've seen this in major programs, where they bring that elder statesman coach to resettle the program.
North Carolina brought in, what's his name over there? Chapel Hill.
Mac Brown. That left, started in North Carolina, went to Texas, and came back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
You
when
know,
you look at all your top when you look at all your top coaches, and now we talk about most of the championship top coaches are in their upper 50s and early 60s.
You know, as you guys talk about it, and as I think about it, and I know you guys think Sam Shade is a natural fit in A&M, and I agree, right? But if I get a shot at getting possibly the best QB in Division I football over at A&M, I got to give Coach Keaton a call as well.
Well, I see that's where you do have the advantage, because he does come with a quarterback. What I looked at it was more from, and I think Coach Cole, not speaking of him, of the long term.
Oh, okay.
Of the long term, and I think immediately, because one thing about it, Sam Shea can make phone calls all up and down that state of Alabama.
That's right.
And Huntsville, again, is another one of those money cities. NASA's right up there. You've got a lot of University Alabama alumni.
A lot of engineers.
Yeah, a lot of engineers that work in the area that he can touch, that he can do autograph signings and just say, oh, by the way, I'm over here at this school that y'all don't really know the name of. Can you give me $1,000? And he'll get 100 people that'll do that without blinking.
Yeah.
So I agree with you guys. I think long-term Sam Shea probably would be a good fit because of what he brings with him in the state of Alabama, right? I agree with you. But if
Ken Griffin says no. Ken, what you talking about?
I think he's saying no. Wait a minute. Well, let me see.
Tell him, hey, make sure you clarify yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, they probably not going – this is the last one.
I think they're talking about Valley, though. I think they're talking about Valley.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Ms. Grimmer's talking about Valley. She said FBI's in Huntsville, too.
So do any of those coaches pick up the phone when Bethune calls?
Yeah. Bethune is a place that you can win. I mean, they sit right on one of the top recruiting grounds in all of the United States. And they've won there. Coach Jenkins won about 3 or 4 championships when he was there.
Yeah, I thought Miss Griffin was talking about Valley. Yeah, I know Miss Griffin. She knows football. And Valley. I'm gonna be honest with you with Valley. I'm gonna tell you, they have tried the young guy to give him a shot. But Coach Cole, I think you're right on here. I think they need an elder statesman coach. Hold on. But let me say this.
It ain't no question.
Yeah, but let me say this. And to my Jack State people, they're gonna say this. But not no Harold Jackson old. We don't need the Harold. My Jackson State people understand what I just said. No, we don't need the Harold Jackson level statesman.
I swear this is my last one. And I know this job won't be open. But this is where I think Coach Keaton fits perfectly, guys. I think he's tailor-made for Southern. I know the job won't be open or whatever, but I think he's tailor-made for Southern.
Hey, man, listen. Now, hold on. Now, see, Perry White ain't on here. Hey, man, Coach Gray's about to win the West. Coach Gray ain't going nowhere.
No. I'm just saying.
But don't put that, man. Don't have no Southern folks calling us want to whoop us up, man. They riding high, man. They just sticking out, Coach. So now they don't even put out. Hey, man, they winning. I don't know how they winning, but they winning.
hey, that rabbit's foot, that monkey ear, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, so now we're not gonna even talk. We ain't even gonna talk about teams that's winning. We're gonna talk about people that we feel pretty comfortable that the coach calls us. He can't get too mad because he know we're not lying.
Well, I think, you going to Bayou Classic? I think I'm going to the Bayou Classic.
I don't know yet. My mother wants to go to New York to see the Lion King, so I'm gonna figure that out.
My mother-in-law coming to town, so no. I'm gonna spend some time with my mother-in-law.
Well, look, it ain't by choice. Let's get that straight.
I love my mother-in-law. I got the best mother-in-law in the world.
With a bat behind your case, say something. Say something.
Hey, look at here. If Keisha leave me, I'm keeping my mother-in-law. She understand that. You hear me? I'm keeping my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Hey, your girl over here lighting it up, or your boy Bluefield, Bfield.
Ooh, she said Keaton that prayer now. Now, see, Miss, listen, somebody man, Miss Berg, you want to put you another box up here. Now, she just said something there. Now, Rocky, that's down in your area.
Yeah.
Teddy Keaton with that Texas speed and talent.
What Michael Jackson say? You got to be started something.
Now, this is what's interesting. I see in different ways, though, but you'll get what I'm saying. I see the Pre-V fan base similar to the Clark Atlanta fan base, right? In this regard, they just don't know how to engage football. But if you could ever get them excited, you'd have one hell of an experience over there. Because just like they do homecoming really well, and I'll leave it right there at PV. They do homecoming really, really, really well.
Let me say this, in some of those places, you need a coach like a Coach Keaton. You know, that's how the SWAC used to be. They used to have these high-flying guys. That's why Sam Shade is a quiet guy. That's A&M style, with Coach Anthony back in the day when they were winning. Grambling can't say enough about Eddie Robinson. You'll be surprised at things that he would say at them interviews. Texas Southern, Southern University, those city schools, that flamboyancy, that come in and take the crowd over and get people excited about coming to the games. You know what I mean? That we gonna win. That's Teddy Keaton style. So those are the type of things that and Valley need a shot of B12. You know what I'm saying? They need a shot of B12 of somebody coming in there with a winning background.
Hey, and we tried to give Sean Gibbs to FAMU, and they didn't want him, so we're not going to even.
Man, listen, we saved Sean Gibbs' headache and his marriage. He didn't want. Listen, man, trust me, he is right where he needs to be. And
listen, man,
because Scotty was out there trying to have a man dating our old age man. Listen, and that man was 38 hot, man. Well, did he come in here with us?
Hey, don't say nothing about that. Because it was off camera. Don't say nothing.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I need to say, he needs to just stay right there. Listen, man, that man like, listen, boy, I'm happy.
boy, you're hard, boy. You went low and high.
I'm supporting. No, wait a minute. Actually, if I remember correct, I was the one that tried to shut it down. I think, Rocky, you were the one.
No. Coach Gibbs came on early, and he gave us a clear directive, and I'll just leave it right there.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, the bottom line is exactly, because I'm the one that always keep it a straight and narrow. But the bottom line is, FAMU was not a good fit for him. That's just the bottom line.
Right.
He didn't want to bring up the FAMU opening in any great detail. And he addressed it the way he wanted to address it, and I think he did a good job of it. I'll leave it right there.
Absolutely. And no disrespect, but again,
and he's a great coach.
Man, he's a great coach that will fit North Carolina A&T, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir. He should be in line for one.
Bishop, you ought to be checked with yourself.
Man, listen, I'm just trying to. Hey, man, I'm here. Hey, man, I'm here to heal hearts and help minds, brother.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Coach, if you don't have anything else, Bishop, you got anything?
Man, listen, I got one last thing.
Bishop, go ahead on and close it down, but make sure you tie a knot at the end of the rope.
No. That I want you to keep, because that is yours. And like I say, it's just like our intern president trying to do strike again. He can't do it like Humphreys. Ain't no need trying to mess that up. I ain't gonna mess that up. But I am gonna say this because we got a little bit of larger audience. Over this past week, we've had a lot of stuff going on social media, and I've always been one person to always support everybody that has channels and YouTubes and pages and things like that. And I was disappointed of what went down because we weren't talking sports. We were talking about each other. And it was about two people that I love and care, actually. And it bothered me because they are so talented. And we got to a point where people were being interjected and names were being called. But that is not what this space is about. This space is about what Coaches Corner is. Showing the best of us. Showing who we are. Showing the pride of our schools. Exposing players. So I'm going to say to all of my HBCU nieces and nephews and my uncles and aunts, let's help each other be better. When we see something kind of going, let's pull the young people to the side and say, hey, you might not want to go that route. Because we've all failed. All three of us on this channel have failed, but we're here right now. So I'm going to say to all my HBCU, I'm here for you. I love all of you all, and I'm never going to stop trying to be a positive light for all these schools and all of you all.
For sure.
That was nice, Coach. That was nice. Well, man, look, we had a great show. Championship week. I think that we're moving this program forward, but we can't do it without you. Still subscribe to the channel. Still share the channel for us. I think we up to 28, almost 3,000 followers in our first year. We're going to try to go through football season, but also bring football through basketball season as well, because you guys know that there's going to be big turnovers. We definitely will show up at these last big games. Of course, the Celebration Bowl, the Bayou Classic, the Turkey Day Classic. So we're going to try to get out and see all these games. Man, life is great. Like Coach said, that, man, at the end of the day, it's all fun and games. It's about information. It's about bringing you to the field. And that's what we want to do. It's about us, loving us. It's for us and by us. So if you feel yourself not feeling good and you think you can't go anywhere, tie a knot at the end of your rope. We all got a rope. Tie a knot at the end of the rope. Hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.